everyone, my name is Anna and welcome to Cactus Caffeine. For today's video, I would like to talk about summer dormancy, what it is, how to tell if your plants are summer dormant, and what to do while they are going through summer dormancy. A few days ago, I posted a picture in Instagram and in Facebook of my first summer cactus casualty. It was an Eriosis villosa that rotted. I said in that post that I think some of my cacti are entering summer dormancy early, and this was due to the extreme heat wave that we are going through here in Nevada and in other parts of the US. Many succulents go through a period of dormancy. Some go through it in the winter, others during summer. Simply put, dormancy for plants means a slowdown or a temporary stop on their growth when the external conditions are not favorable. This enables them to survive at a time when climates become unsuitable for their growth. When it comes to cactus, generally, cacti go dormant during winter or during the cooler months of the year. They actively grow in spring and summer or during the warmer months of the year. However, cacti can also go dormant in summer when the weather is extremely hot and dry for a prolonged period. Here in the desert, my cacti go through dormancy twice a year. First during the winter and the next one during summer. In my observation, some of my cacti, though not all of them, go into summer dormancy when our temperatures reach 105 degrees Fahrenheit every day for a long period. Just recently, we hit 114 degrees Fahrenheit or 45.5 degrees Celsius. To make things worse, our humidity is always less than 10% every day. Those were the triggers that made some of my cacti go dormant. How can you tell if your cacti are summer dormant? First of all, there are no visible signs of growth. For instance, these two cacti here, as you can see, they have flower buds, they are flowering, so these are not summer dormant. This one right here, this is a saguaro, and as you can see on top, there are new spines forming. The dark black and red spines, those are new growth, as well as on this gymnocalycium, there are new spines developing on top, so that is actively growing. And this one has flower buds. This parodia was forming buds in spring, but when the heat wave started here, it just suddenly stopped developing those buds. So right now, it's just like in a frozen state. It's not doing anything. It's not growing. The buds are not growing. So this is another sign for me that it is going summer dormant. Now, these two right here, these are both Rebutia. These had flowered during springtime and now they're done blooming, and I noticed for the past couple of weeks they are doing nothing. So this one looks a little bit dehydrated, and despite it being water, it did not plump back up. That is the second sign that you will see if your cacti are summer dormant. So when you water them, observe your cacti after say 3 or 5 days. If they plump back up, then that means they are not summer dormant. So they are actively growing and they are actively absorbing water through their roots. However, these two, despite being watered, they did nothing. So I think they are summer dormant as of now. As a word of caution, Rebutias generally are prone to rot. Last year, I was giving them water despite the extreme temperature that we were experiencing during the summer. I was watering them, trying to get them to plump back up, not realizing that they were already summer dormant. So I ended up losing 2 Rebutia plants last year. Now, what should you do if your cacti are summer dormant? The first thing that you should do is provide them a cooler temperature. So move them in a shadier position or somewhere where there's greater air circulation. So anything that will bring down the temperature, put them in that position and away from direct sunlight. For instance, this is my rack that receives less sunlight. This I think is dormant, so I tucked it in here, as well as that crested echinopsis. Crests are very prone to root rot, so be very careful when you water them, especially if they are dormant. As well as that main thing over there, it's shriveled but it's not perking up despite being watered, so I tucked it there under a shadier position. The second thing that I do is I back off on watering. I still give them water. I don't totally withhold watering, but I don't give them as much as I do as when they were actively growing during spring. Right now, I am still on a once a week watering schedule. I would water these once a week, but I give them less water than I would if it was spring. So I would say I give them maybe 50% of the amount of water that I normally would give them right now that they are summer dormant. I still have to introduce a little bit of moisture in the soil because if I let them go bone dry for a prolonged period of time, the roots will get desiccated. So what will happen is they would suffer from root loss. It may not kill the cactus, but it will delay their recovery. Also, before you water your cacti, make sure the soil is completely dry, okay, in between watering. So only water it when your soil is completely dry, when your temperatures are very high in your area. Now, in my climate, I have a very low humidity, but if you live in an area where, although it is hot, you still have high humidity, you probably can afford to water your cactus less often than once a week because cacti actually have the ability to absorb moisture in the air. So if you have high temperature but high humidity, you can delay the watering of your cacti. But as for me, my humidity here is always less than 10%. So I cannot afford to let them go dry for a very long time. Otherwise, they shrivel up very fast. When watering your cacti during the summer season, pick a day when it is a little bit cooler, or better yet, water them at nighttime. So the last thing that you would want to do is put them in a shock when it is too hot, like when the soil and the roots are hot and then you suddenly pour water in it. The roots will not absorb the water anyway, so the soil will stay wet longer, so that will eventually lead to the death of your cactus due to root rot. And lastly, avoid fertilizing your cactus when it is summer dormant. So when they are dormant, their roots do not efficiently absorb nutrients in the soil. So if you give them too much fertilizer, you will end up having burns on your cacti, and this will eventually lead to root rot as well. This is what is going to happen if you disturb your summer dormant cactus. It will rot. So as you can see, this one is rotted. This is a gunner. So I'm not sure, I might have overwatered this, or I put it in shade too late, so it just shriveled up. So either way, this is a gunner, so that's one casualty for this summer. This is another example here. As you can see, the one on the left rotted, but this is a little bit tricky because there are two cacti in this pot. So one went summer dormant and the other one did not. So when I watered this one rotted at the bottom, so you can see there, but the other one, this one, is very healthy and it's growing. So it could be tricky if you have several cacti in one pot that are not coordinated in their growth. If you're still not sure if your cactus is summer dormant, just observe your cactus. If it is plump like this one, don't do anything to it, don't water it, it's fine. It's probably dormant, but it's fine. It has a lot of water inside it, so leave it alone and wait for it to shrivel up a little bit like this one before you give it a little bit of, or a little sip of water. This is my take on summer dormancy. I am still learning more every summer, but this is just to share my experience so far. Many cacti, especially the desert cacti, are built to withstand heat and dry spells. If you live in a place where the temperature rarely goes above 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius, your cacti may not go dormant. But if ever you do experience it, I hope this video somehow gives you an overview of what summer dormancy is. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about cactus and their fascinating ways of growing. Until next time, bye everyone, and cheers!